case briefs, and so much more. LSData's got what you're looking for.
In an engaging case from the United States Court of Appeals for the First Circuit, a pregnant woman sues her obstetrician for injuries her son sustained during birth. The plaintiff, Kenyatta Taft, focused her argument on the lack of informed consent from her doctor, Dr. Lewis Laws. Kenya Taft stated that her obstetrician failed to disclose the inherent risks of a vaginal birth, despite a dangerous precedent set in her medical history. In her first child's birth, trauma during vaginal birth led to Erb's palsy. Aware of this history, Dr. Laz did acknowledge the risks present for Taft's impending childbirth, but deemed them as normal, and thus did not discuss them explicitly with Taft. Taft argues that as an alternative, Dr. Laz ought to have informed Taft about the option of a C-section. The case pivots on the concept of informed consent, and whether the doctor failed in his due diligence. Initially, the district court judged in favor of Dr. Laz, finding him not negligent. This opinion was founded on the theory of failure to meet the standard of care or lack of informed consent. However, the plaintiff appealed this judgment, specifically on the informed consent claim. The United States Court of Appeals for the First Circuit took on the case, reviewing the materiality of the risks. In Massachusetts, where the case is being tried, for a patient to prove lack of informed consent, they must illustrate that the doctor failed to disclose certain information, contributing to the patient's injury. The appeals court clarified their stance that if a risk is significant enough to be deemed material, in other words, based on the chance of occurrence and the severity of potential injury, the physician has a duty to inform the patient. Further, the court held that if the risks are indeed significant, then the doctor is obliged to present an alternative childbirth method such as a C-section. Stepping away from the district court's position, the Court of Appeals judged that premature analysis of damages needed review. As such, the court remanded the case back to the district court for a renewed focus on determining the materiality of the risks of vaginal birth to a reasonable person in Taft's position.
Case briefs, and so much more. LSData's got what you're looking for. Visit lsd.law, elevate your mind. Leave the stress of class.